I love people, not fight them. No, you have to be a fighter if you love someone. In what way? What kind of love is it if you don't fight for it? The person who helped Keanu Reeves with his private life for 15 years was suddenly fired, taking away the quiet rhythms of his daily life. What she did next, though, shocked everyone. A lot of people don't know her name. That's how things were always set up, close and quiet. Lina Martínez Romero was that girl for Keanu Reeves. In 2015, when he was moving into a calmer part of his work, she became his assistant. Lucy had worked as a senior coordinator before and was known for keeping things quiet. She wasn't hired for flash. She was picked because she was calm, loyal, and could disappear right away. Keanu liked things to be easy. He didn't like rapid changes and liked to stick to routines. There's something most people didn't know, that Lucia changed her work to fit that. After a careful but quiet screening process, she was hired. Keanu didn't want a well-known publicist. He wanted to be with a real person who would respect his space and not hurt it. Lucy had worked with famous people before, but this wasn't like that. Her days began early. Before the rest of the city woke up, Lucia would open Keanu's home office, print out his schedule, answer his emails, and make him tea the way he preferred it, always in the same cup, strong, without sugar. She moved slowly, almost like a ghost, and always kept the line between helping people and being friends clear. She wasn't just staff, though. She thought of herself as a quiet observer of a life lived in the dark. Keanu was known for being quiet, but people who know him well say he's friendly once you earn his trust. He could tell what kind of day it was just by the way he walked into a room. He told her when he wanted to talk, when he needed room, and when he just wanted to nod. She remembered the strange little things. When he first started crying laughing at a dog video, how he always left the room during sad scenes and texts, and how he would stop a meeting in the middle to look out a window and enjoy the sunlight. She didn't post any pictures or videos. She carefully held on to those parts of his life. He didn't mean for Lucia to be in his close group, but over time, she became a part of it. In the guest room, she always made sure there were clean shirts. She brought earplugs with her for loud events for him. She learned the names of all the people who cleaned his cars or walked his dogs. She kept the bubble he lived in safe. She knew where she belonged. She didn't talk about him with other people or sell stories about him. Fans wondered online who was in charge of his life, but her name never came up, and she liked it that way. But a friendship had grown in the background. They made up little routines over the years. As Lucia put away papers, she would sometimes hum softly to songs that her grandma used to sing in Buenos Aires. They told Keanu what they meant, but he never asked. He would hew them back to himself sometimes. Keanu asked for a simple birthday cake when she turned 50. There was no staff or press there. Some words written by hand and the same chocolate cake he liked as a child. She didn't need to be noticed. His quiet words, "You always remember what matters," were the most important for her. When Keanu started shooting in another country, Lucia had to change her plans again. She planned ahead and checked each room herself. For long drives, she always had a music ready. She wrote in his script little notes like, "Remember to eat," or "You've done worse things than this." He got used to her in a world that was always moving. She was close by during every flight and practice, but she didn't hover. He saw that she was limping one time in Paris and asked her softly what had happened. She didn't care about it. That night, though, he brought her tea and told her, "Take care of me. Let me do you a favor." There were never long talks about trust or limits. They didn't need to. She once helped him understand something in Spanish, de confianza, no se pesa se gana. To gain trust, you have to do something good. That was their quiet understanding from then on. Lucia never yelled. She didn't need to. A quick glance and a soft reminder got things back on track. She would find a back exit when reporters were waiting outside of hotels or when film teams got too close. She always did. When he asked, "Why do they follow me around like that?" she just said, "Because they think they know you, but they don't. Not really." He always held that truth with him. From the outside, fame looks like sparkles and attention. But Lucia has made something special behind the cameras, where time slows down and things seem more real. A place where anyone, even Keanu Reeves, who is always being watched, could just breathe. A place that made you feel safe, normal, and unaltered. As normal as life could get for a man whose face is known all over the world, she thoughtfully marked his big events in little ways. Now things get more interesting. Watch out. Lucia Reese had a surprise for him in the staff room on his 52nd birthday. After the Mata party was over, she made him his favorite lemon cookies and set up a small table with a candle. After Keanu came in and saw it, he smiled, which doesn't happen very often. "Made these, right?" he asked. She told him, "Just for you." All the time. Of course, things didn't always go well. In fact, what his hard days were like might surprise you. Everyone has bad days, even Keanu. When things were bothering him, he could be quiet or think about things. Lucia got it, though. At least she didn't brush off his feelings. She helped him put them into words. "Do you feel stressed out or just tired?" she would ask. After a pause, he'd say, "Overwhelmed." She would say, "Then let's talk about it." When Keanu took on bigger parts, Lucia was already used to her place in his life. Additionally, more staff were hired to help, but Lucia stayed his main confidant. He would still take her on quiet walks with him, where he would pick up interesting rocks or leaves and value them. They played board games in the dark when it rained. She sat next to him while he worked on puzzles and smiled when he finished a hard part. During a break from shooting one summer, they took a short trip to a cabin in the middle of nowhere. There were many days when Lucia and Keanu were outside. They jumped over rocks in the lake and looked up in the trees for bird eggs. They read stories in the living room by the fire at night. Keanu often fell asleep in the middle of a story while sitting on the couch and reading. There was a book in his hand. Keanu hurt himself during a stunt, lost a close friend, enjoyed the success of a movie, or learned a hard lesson. She was there for all of those times. She stayed up with him when he couldn't sleep, listened to him, and praised him when he reached important personal goals. Deep down, she knew that her job would end soon. Helpers never do that. She wanted a little more time, though. She was thankful that he trusted her, because he never let her be normal for long. Plus, she knew that even though she wasn't in the press, she had changed Keanu Reeves' life in a way that no camera could ever show. Their daily habits changed as the years went by. Lucia no longer planned every part of his day-to-day activities. These days, she started her morning by making his favorite food, putting together his schedule, and talking about future projects over coffee. Things had changed for Keanu. He had a lot to do these days. He had to go to meetings, read scripts, ride his motorbike, and sometimes go to public events during the week. He still spent a lot of time with Lucia, but things were different from before. She didn't have to remind him of his plans anymore. Now, she watched as he took charge and kept track of his plans. Keanu was getting better at taking care of himself. He started making his own plans for travel. He asked if he could try taking care of his social media accounts by himself. He did come to Lucia for small things, though. He would go to her office to tell her about a new idea or get help with a personal issue. Lucia changed with him, just like she always did. Let him have his space, but they stayed close. She now spent more time working with his team, making him meals he liked on days off, and hearing his ideas or questions. Keanu began to ask more profound questions when he turned 55 years old. Not just why questions, but ones that showed he was thinking about things. After going to a charity event one night, he asked Lucia, "Do all children have someone to watch over them?" She told him the truth in a soft voice. "No, not every kid has a friend." After that, his quiet said more than any question. His group had also grown. Through work and friendship, he had become close with many people. Lucia still paid most of her attention to Keanu, but she also helped plan events and supported his charitable work. She sometimes worked with his team and helped plan programs to reach out to the neighborhood. Still, her relationship with Keanu was unique. Keanu often seemed calm and collected when he was in public. He kept a low image, wore simple clothes, and seemed serious, though he was still a man at home. He thought about what he did, why he needed security, and why random people always took pictures of him. Lucia gave him an answer he could understand. "People have high hopes for you," she told me once. "You can still be yourself, though." She helped him hold on to the parts of himself that weren't related to being famous. The way he laughed and forgot about everything else while playing board games, his love of bikes and books. He went on trips to the country, spent the weekends at his hideaway, and went to the beach when his schedule allowed. While that was going on, Lucia hid when she had to, but was always close. She was careful when she packed Keanu's bag. He was riding his motorbike and she stood nearby and watched. She made little noises when it was time to eat and come inside. People started to notice Keanu's public role more when he turned 60. He went to more events and worked on more projects. He was taller. He spoke more clearly. But Lucia still saw the same man who helped a lost dog and left her notes at breakfast. The note would sometimes just say, "Gracias," to thank her for helping with a script. Things change in quiet ways sometimes. During a break in the fall, Keanu spent most of the day reading about famous people from history in his study. They had worked together on this project for years, and Lucia had set up the supplies, but Keanu didn't look as he walked by the table. She felt a little sad, but she didn't say anything. She put the things away and made tea instead. It wasn't like he no longer cared. What it meant was that he was changing. That was clear to her. Keanu had more duties and a set schedule by the time he was 65 years old, was getting later in life, and his ideas were getting deeper. Philosophy was his favorite subject, and he was also interested in learning about other countries. He started to ask more serious questions. He talked about different ideas, remembered facts, and even told his coworkers they were wrong when they did something. Lucia still did little things to help, like cleaning up his apartment after shooting and making sure he ate well before long shoots. She also always gave him space when he needed it. Keanu had to be away for 3 months that year for a movie shoot. He would be gone for so long for the first time in a long time. The people who worked with Keanu carefully packed his clothing, his carry-on bag, a few personal things, and some lines on paper. He gave his helper a small nod before he left. He said, "I'll be fine." Lucia really thought him. He looked different when he came back. It could have been just how it felt. He was more sure of himself when he walked in and talked to his team like he had more experience. But he didn't ask Lucia for help right away. A few hours later, he found her reading some lines in the quiet office. He said, "I remember everything." She laughed. "I knew you would. This next thing will shock you." Keanu's projects took up most of his time these days. His publicists and management team worked hard to keep him from giving in to the pressures of fame. Some things, though, couldn't be stopped. People had high hopes for her as a star. Lucy's job had also changed. She wasn't making Smeny's plans for his days. She held from the side instead. A quiet but important part of his life is still there. She had changed her job, not because she was less important, but because it had changed. The group had also begun to talk about Keanu's future. His PR pros got new agents to work for him. His film crew got bigger. Keanu was now focused on parts that would help him improve as an actor and push him in new ways. This caused a change that no one saw coming. At some point, Keanu was asked to join a business meeting. It was quiet in the room. He was sitting next to his boss. The way they spoke was kind and polite. They thanked him for his trust and hard work, and the confidence he brought to his job. After that, they told Keanu in a kind way that he didn't need a personal helper as much anymore. His team would take care of his routine, his business, and his new responsibilities. This had always been part of their bigger plan for him.